Hello, my dear friends. How are you? I hope that you are great. My name is Ольga Валентиновна. Nice to meet you. Today we are going to deal with second conditional. What is this second conditional? What are conditionals in general? Who knows? I hope that you've said something. Each condition has its own condition and its own result. It means that every conditional sentence contains result plus condition. But before we start doing different tasks and really practicing our grammar, I want to ask you, tell me please, how is going, guys? You've said something? I've heard I'm great. I can answer that I'm super. If we are talking about your emotional state, you could be fine, good, okay, or wonderful, or happy. If you have some problems, you may tell that I'm so-so. If you have a lot of homeworks, home tasks, or some housework, you can tell that I'm tired, or I'm sad, or I'm hungry. Here we can see just a phrase, I'm bored. And it is written that I'm so bored, I wish someone could kidnap me so I could go on an adventure. I advise you today to go on an adventure with me and with conditionals. But if you are sleepy or angry, I wish you had fun. Look at these smiles or minions. They are great, aren't they? So let's start. Second conditional, what is it? If we are talking about theory, it is, of course, a very obligatory part during learning or teaching English, usage and structure. When do we use conditionals? We use conditional when we are talking about imaginary situation in the present or future. Some imaginary, improbable situation, what would be if I were, for example, a millionaire? And the structure is very simple because after if we should use past simple, and in the main part we should use would or wouldn't plus verb. Look attentively at my screen or your screen, you see that if plus past simple, and in the brackets it is written to be, use verb. Instead of would or wouldn't, you may see that can be could, for example, or should, some kind of modal verbs. It's also possible. For example, if I had a lot of time, I would travel a lot. Or, if I were you, I wouldn't do this. Now look at the examples. Here you have a list of examples. For example, the first. If I won $1 million, I would buy a new car. If I were you, I would give up smoking because it's very harmful for our health, yes? If I had more free time, I would travel a lot, or I would travel more often because I love traveling very, very much. And what do I advise you? I want you today try to create a wheel of your dreams, a wheel. You have to turn on your imagination, you have to be very creative, use your fantasy, and try to do all your best during this task. I will show you an example. If I lived abroad, what would I do? Maybe would I have something? If I lived abroad, I would have a lot of opportunities. Great, of course, because if I lived abroad, the whole world would be open for me. A lot of opportunities. Continue, go on. If I had a lot of opportunities, I would find a well-paid job. It's very good. It would be great. Great job. If I found a well-paid job, what would happen? Who knows? Maybe you said something? If I found a well-paid job, I would be able to buy everything what I want. It's a typical desire, our women's or girls, yes? It wouldn't be great, wouldn't it? Of course, because each girl or even boy wants to buy everything. Okay, go on. Next task would be to use your fantasy. You have a limited time task. You need to develop these topics and make up a story using second conditional. Time you have, it is 5 minutes, and you need to continue these uncompleted sentences. For example, if I had such an opportunity, I would. Or if I met a crocodile, I would. If I had a lot of money, and so on. You need to do this task, and I would turn on you in music. It would be very maybe relaxing, and try to do your best using your knowledge. You have 5 minutes. I will be watching your time. Don't forget about structure, grammar. Okay, you have 2 minutes more. Maybe somebody is already Ready? Don't forget about your grammar. After if we use past simple. After comma, we should use would or wouldn't plus were infinitive. Were infinitive, it is infinitive without particle to. Would do, for example. Use your fantasy, try to be creative, original. Okay, your time has come. So I hope that you were writing your best ideas, but right now I will show you my own. If I had such an opportunity, I wouldn't repeat my mistake. If I met a crocodile, I would run away. Of course, it's very dangerous. If I had a lot of money, I could afford to buy everything I would like to. Yes, it would be great. If I lived abroad, I would have a lot of opportunities. If I knew about this earlier, I would tell you. If I could, I would change my mind according to this issue. If I were a millionaire, I would donate my money. If I were a president, I would improve our economy. If I were a queen, I would live like in a tale. Not a king, but queen, yes. If I were a queen, I would live like in a tale. It would be great also. Okay, now you have another task. It would be also connected with limited time, but the question would be just one. If I have a lot of money, what would you do? You have some limited time for this. Try to be also very, very creative or maybe funny. Your time is also 5 minutes. Let's start. If I have a lot of money, what would happen? There is a good proverb that time is money. Yes, unfortunately, money is also a main part of our life. Try to connect your examples maybe with some actual life or true to life stories, or maybe your personal wishes, because it is very actual, as I've told before. If I have a lot of money, what would I do? Pay attention to your grammar, to your spelling, to some lexical units. In order to avoid mistakes, try to be very, very attentive, accurate. I hope that you are ready, but you have still time. I will show you my results. If I had a lot of money, I would give it to the charity. If I had a lot of money, I would buy a new house for my parents. If I had a lot of money, I would move abroad. If I had a lot of money, I would buy a castle. It would be cool. I would be much happier if, for doing this task, you also have to spend 5 minutes, but we will not wait. You may look at my examples, and when you have free time, try to do your own. For example, if I would be much happier if I could work less and see my daughter more often. Yes. I would be much happier if we didn't have criminals. I would be much happier if all people were healthy. I would be much happier if I were a child. Okay, go on. Would you like to have fun? It is very, very interesting game, like word game. You have start and finish, and you have 26 questions. It would be very interesting for you. You may play this game with your friends or your family members, but I will show how it works on my own example. Number 1, if you were 100 kilometers tall, what would you do? Personally, I have never thought about this. I was always satisfied with my stature, but if I were 100 kilometers tall, maybe I could be a giant. If you had $1 million, what would you buy? If I had a lot of money or $1 million, I would buy everything what I want. If your teacher didn't go to class, what would happen? It's very bad. If my teacher didn't come to my class, maybe he or she would be ill. If you met your favorite celebrity, what would you say? It's very interesting. If I met my favorite celebrity, I would tell, hi. If you had a fight with your best friend, what would you do? If I had a fight with my best friend, I would apologize if it would be my fault. If your best friend moved away, what would you do? If my best friend moved away, I would keep in touch with her. If you visited Paris, what would you see? If I visited Paris, I would see a lot of places, a lot of castles, a lot of monuments, or Eiffel Tower, of course. If you didn't have to go to school, what would you do with your time? If I didn't have to go to school, I would devote my time for self-education. If you could have one superpower, what would it be? If I could have one superpower, it would be guessing thoughts. If you could visit the moon, would you go? If I could visit the moon, I wouldn't go because it would be dangerous and I would be afraid. If your mom made broccoli for dinner, would you eat it? Actually, I don't like and can't stand it, but if my mom made broccoli for dinner, I would taste it just for the first time. If you were a teacher, would you give homework and tasks? I'm a teacher, but if I were a teacher, I would give a lot of interesting tasks and tasks. If you met the president, what would you tell him? If I met a president, I would tell him to improve our economy. If you were a famous musician, what kind of music would you play? If I were a famous musician, I wouldn't play any kind of music. I like to listen to it. If you were a soccer player, what team would you play for? For this question, I can't tell you the answer because I am not football fan and I don't actually know some football teams. I may tell that I wouldn't be a football player. If you could change something about your life, what would it be? If I could change something about my life, I would change my past. If you didn't study, would you pass the test? If I didn't study, probably I wouldn't pass my test. If your family moved to America, how would you feel? If my family moved to America, I would miss it. If you were invisible for a day, what would you do? I don't know. I haven't thought about it. If you bought a pet, what would it be? If I bought a pet, it would be a small monkey. If you had to stop eating one food forever, what would it be? If I had to stop eating one food forever, it would be an apple. If you could only eat one food for the rest of your life, what would it be? You know, I like very much tomatoes, and if I could only eat one food for the rest of my life, I would eat tomatoes. If you had more free time, what would you spend it on? If I had more free time, I would spend it for my family because I'm too busy and I have a lot of work. But these are my examples. You may do your own examples and have fun. Thank you for attention. It was very pleasant to work with you and it was very nice to meet with you. If you want to see online lessons, contact these Ранок School or virtual Ранок School. And I hope that you find a lot of maybe opportunities, maybe different tasks, because all tasks would be very creative, very brainstorming even. It would be very, very great, of course, if you want. Goodbye. Have a nice day.